Have you ever felt like you're carrying a weight that isn't quite yours? Maybe you're trudging through your day, feeling off, like something's clinging to you that you can't shake. It's a sensation so many of us know, but rarely talk about. Sometimes it is not just your own stress or struggles, it is like we picked up someone else's energy without even realizing it. Today we were diving into something fascinating and a little mysterious. The idea that sharing personal items like your comb, towel or shoes could mean absorbing someone else's karma, bad luck or hidden suffering. It sounds wild, right? But stick with me, because this isn't a tea about superstition for the sake of it. It is about understanding how energy flows in our lives and how we can protect our own peace. This idea comes from a mix of ancient wisdom and practical spirituality, drawing from Buddhist teachings, Eastern philosophies, and those little nuggets of folk belief that make you pause and think. It's not about fear or locking your stuff away in a vault. It's about being mindful of what you're inviting into your life. Think about it. Every day, we interact with objects that hold our energy. Our combs touch our thoughts. Our towels soak up our moments of vulnerability. Our shoes carry us through life's paths. These things aren't just things, they're extensions of us. And when we share them, we might be opening a door to energies we don't fully understand. Before we dive deeper, let's make this personal. I'd love for you to write in the comments, "The energy I carry is my own to nurture." It's a simple Buddhist-inspired reminder that your inner peace is worth protecting. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, I'll share a powerful, practical way to cleanse your energy and keep it vibrant no matter what's going on around you. Sound good? Let's get started. Imagine you're getting ready for the day. You grab your comb, run it through your hair, and it feels like a ritual, doesn't it? That comb isn't just detangling knots. It's touching your scalp, your thoughts, your essence. In many spiritual traditions, hair is seen as a connection to your spirit, a kind of antenna for your energy. Buddhist monks shave their heads, not just for simplicity, but to release attachments and clear their energetic field. Now, what happens when someone else uses that comb? Their energy, maybe their stress, their doubts, or even their unprocessed pain could linger. It's like letting someone else write in your journal. You wouldn't want their words mixed in with yours, right? This isn't about being paranoid or selfish. It's about recognizing that objects carry stories. Take a towel, for example. After a shower, it's there in your most raw, open moments, soaking up not just water, but the emotions you're releasing. In Eastern spirituality, water is a symbol of purification, but it can also hold on to energies if not handled mindfully. Sharing a towel might feel like no big deal, but it's like handing over a piece of your emotional slate to someone else. Their struggles, their karma, the consequences of their actions could subtly weave into your space. Let's talk about shoes for a second. They're literally the foundation of your journey, carrying you through every step of your life. In some cultures, shoes are considered so personal that you'd never dream of wearing someone else's. Think about it. Someone else's shoes have walked their path, through their highs and lows, their victories and their stumbles. When you slip into them, you're stepping into their energy too. It's like trying to walk your path while carrying their baggage. And who needs that extra weight? The beauty of this idea is that it is not just about avoiding bad vibes, it is about honoring your own energy. In Buddhism, there's this concept of mindfulness, of being fully present with what you're doing and what's around you. When you treat your personal items with intention, you're practicing that mindfulness. You're saying, my energy matters, my peace matters, and that as a powerful statement in a world that is constantly pulling at us from every direction. Here's a story to bring this home. A friend of mine, let's call her Maya, was going through a rough patch. She felt stuck, like her life was foggy, and she couldn't figure out why. One day, she noticed she'd been using a towel her roommate left behind after a tough breakup. Maya didn't think much of it at first, but she started to wonder if that towel was carrying more than just dampness. She swapped it out, cleansed her space with some sage, and focused on resetting her own energy. It wasn't instant magic, but she said it felt like a weight lifted. Sometimes it's the small mindful choices that make the biggest difference. What is cool about this is how it ties into something bigger. The idea that we are all connected, but we also have the power to protect our own space. You don't need to be a spiritual guru to get this. It's about listening to that quiet voice inside that says, "This is mine, and I'm going to care for it." And that brings us to another layer of this conversation, something most people overlook, but can change everything. So let's keep this flow going. You're starting to see how personal items like your comb, towel, or shoes aren't just objects. They're like little energetic sponges, soaking up the vibes of whoever uses them. But here is something that doesn't get talked about enough: the way these objects can act as bridges between you and someone else's emotional world. It's not just about bad luck or karma in some mystical sense. It's about how energy sticks, lingers, and sometimes sneaks into your life when you're not paying attention. Picture this. You're at a friend's house, and you borrow their towel after a quick dip in the pool. It's just a towel, right? But what if that friend's been wrestling with some heavy stuff? Maybe they re-stressed about work, or they're carrying grief they haven't processed. In many spiritual traditions, especially in Eastern practices, water is seen as a carrier of energy. That towel, still holding traces of their emotions, could pass a little of that weight onto you. It's not like you're going to suddenly take on their whole life story, but you might feel a subtle shift, a heaviness, a restlessness that you can't quite explain. This idea ties into a Buddhist principle called pratitya samutpada, or dependent origination. It's a fancy way of saying everything's connected. Your actions, your choices, even the things you touch, ripple out and come back to you. When you share something as personal as a comb, you were not just sharing a tool, you were creating a link between your energy and someone else's. And if their energy is chaotic, that link might pull you off balance. It's like plugging your phone into a charger that's got a frayed cord. You might get a charge, but you could also get a shock. Let me share a little example to make this real. I knew someone, let's call him Jake, who had this habit of lending his shoes to his buddies when they'd hang out and play basketball. Jake was a generous guy, always happy to share. But he started noticing that after these games, he'd feel drained, not just physically, but emotionally. It was like he was carrying a cloud he couldn't shake. One day he mentioned this to his grandmother, who grew up with old-school beliefs about energy. She told him, "Stop letting people walk in your shoes. They're carrying their own paths, and you're picking up their dust." Jake laughed it off at first, but he tried keeping his shoes to himself for a while. Guess what? That drained feeling started to fade. Coincidence? Maybe. But sometimes the old wisdom knows what's up. Now, this doesn't mean you should never share anything with anyone. It's not about building walls or being stingy. It's about discernment, choosing when and with whom you share your energy. Think of it like this. Your comb, your towel, your shoes, they're like your personal sanctuary. You wouldn't let just anyone walk into your bedroom and start rearranging your stuff, would you? It's the same with these items. They're intimate, tied to your body and your spirit system, spirit. By being selective about who uses them, you're keeping your sanctuary clean and clear. And here is where it gets even more interesting. There is a way to take this idea of energy protection and turn it into something you can actively use to feel lighter and more centered. Let's explore that next. Okay, so we've been talking about how your personal items, like your comb, towel, or shoes, can carry energy, and why sharing them might invite someone else's struggles into your space. But let's flip this for a moment. What if you could use these same objects to strengthen your own energy? What if, instead of worrying about picking up someone else's karma, you could turn your daily routines into little rituals that keep you grounded and vibrant? That's where this conversation is headed now, and I think you're going to love how simple and powerful this can be. Think about your morning routine. You grab your comb, maybe you're standing in front of the mirror, and you're getting ready to face the day. That moment isn't just about looking good, it's a chance to set an intention. In Buddhist practices, mindfulness isn't just sitting cross-legged and meditating. It's about bringing awareness to the small stuff, like brushing your hair or drying off after a shower. When you treat these moments with care, you're not just grooming, you're anchoring your energy. You're saying, "This is my space, my moment, my peace." Let's break this down with a towel, for example. After a shower, you're in this pure, reset state. The water's washed away the day's stress, and your towel is there to wrap you up. Instead of just tossing it in the laundry, take a second to appreciate it. Maybe even say something to yourself like, "I'm letting go of what doesn't serve me." It sounds a little woo-woo, But it's like giving your towel a job to hold your energy, not someone else's. If you share it, you're mixing that intention with someone else's vibe, and that can dilute the clarity you're trying to cultivate. Here's a real-life story to make this click. My friend Lila, who's super into mindfulness, had this old comb she'd used forever. It was nothing fancy, just a plain black one, but she treated it like it was sacred. Every morning she'd comb her hair slowly, focusing on her breathing, almost like a meditation. She swore it helped her stay calm, even on chaotic days. One day her sister borrowed it without asking, and Lila noticed she felt off afterward, like her routine had been disrupted. She didn't make a big deal out of it, but she gently asked her sister to use her own comb next time. Lila wasn't being possessive. She was protecting her ritual, her little moment of peace. This idea of treating your items as extensions of your energy isn't new. In many Eastern traditions, objects like prayer beads or sacred texts are handled with reverence because they are seen as conduits for spiritual focus. Your comb or shoes might not be prayer beads, but they're part of your daily life, and that makes them just as powerful in their own way. By keeping them personal, you're creating a boundary that says, "My energy is mine to nurture." And here is a practical tip you can try today. When you use your towel or comb, take a deep breath and imagine you're clearing out any negativity. Picture it like dust falling away, leaving only your own light, clear energy behind. It takes 10 seconds, but it can shift your whole day. You don't need to be perfect at it. Just start small and see how it feels. Speaking of starting small, there's another angle to this that ties it all together. Something that can make this practice even more meaningful. Let's dive into that next. Now that we're getting the hang of how our personal items can be tools for mindfulness, let's take this a step further. It is not just about keeping your comb or towel to yourself to avoid someone else's energy. It is about understanding why those energies can affect you in the first place. There's this beautiful, subtle dance between your inner world and the world around you. And it's something we don't always notice until things feel off. Ever have one of those days where you're just not yourself and you can't pinpoint why? Let's talk about how the things you touch every day play a role in that, and how you can take control. Think about the idea of karma for a second, not as some cosmic punishment system, but as the flow of cause and effect, like ripples in a pond. In Buddhist teachings, karma isn't just about what you do. It's about the intentions and energies you carry and share. When someone uses your shoes, for instance, they're not just borrowing a pair of sneakers. They're stepping into your energetic path. Their intentions, their struggles, their unresolved stuff can leave a trace. It's like when you walk through a muddy field and track dirt into your house. You didn't mean to, but now it's there, and it's messing with your clean space. Let me paint a picture with a story. My cousin, Sam, used to share his running shoes with his gym buddy. They'd swap gear all the time, no big deal. But Sam started noticing he'd feel anxious after their runs, which was weird because running usually calmed him down. His buddy, on the other hand, was going through a rough divorce, and his stress was through the roof. Sam didn't connect the dots at first, but he started wondering if those shared shoes were carrying more than just sweat. He switched to using his own pair, and slowly, that anxious feeling faded. It was like he'd stopped walking in his friend's emotional mud. This isn't about blaming others or thinking everyone's energy is bad. It's about recognizing that we all carry our own unique vibe, and mixing those vibes can sometimes throw us off balance. In Eastern spirituality, there's a lot of emphasis on keeping your energetic field clear. Think of practices like smudging with sage or ringing a bell to reset a space. Your personal items are part of that field. Your comb touches your thoughts, your towel wraps around your emotions, your shoes ground you to the earth. When you share them, you're letting someone else's ripples mix with yours, and that can create waves you didn't expect. Here's something you can do right now to make this practical. Choose one item, say your towel, and treat it like it's yours alone for a week. When you use it, take a moment to focus on your own energy. Maybe say to yourself, "This is my space, my calm, my strength." It's not about being rigid or selfish. It's about creating a habit of honoring your own energy. You'll be amazed at how something so small can make you feel more centered. And this leads us to another piece of the puzzle, something that ties this all together and gives you even more power over your energy. Let's explore that next. All right, we're deep into this now, and I love how this conversation is unfolding. We've been exploring how your personal items, like your comb, towel, or shoes, can carry energy, and why keeping them to yourself can protect your peace. But let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. How you can actively clear and reset the energy of these objects to make them true allies in your spiritual journey. This isn't just about avoiding someone else's vibes. It's about turning your everyday routines into moments of empowerment. Ready to dive into that? Let's go. Imagine your towel as more than just a piece of fabric. Every time you use it, it's like a canvas soaking up your state of mind. Your calm after a long day, your rush to get out the door, or even those quiet moments when you're just processing life. In many spiritual traditions, especially in Eastern practices, objects can hold energy until they're cleansed. It's why temples have rituals for purifying tools or spaces. Your personal items are no different. If someone else uses your comb or shoes, their energy might linger, like a guest who overstays their welcome. But you have the power to hit the reset button. Let's make this vivid with a story. My friend Aisha had this favorite pair of sneakers she wore everywhere, work, hikes, you name it. She loved how they felt like an extension of her, carrying her through her adventures. But one day she lent them to a co-worker for a charity walk, and when she got them back, something felt off. She couldn't explain it, but wearing them didn't feel as grounding anymore. Aisha grew up with a mom who was big on energy cleansing, so she tried something simple. She left her shoes out under the moonlight for a night, imagining the lunar glow washing away any lingering vibes. The next day, she swore they felt like her shoes again. It's like she reclaimed them. This idea of cleansing isn't complicated, and you don't need to be a spiritual expert to do it. In Buddhist practices, intention is everything. You can cleanse your items with something as simple as water, sunlight, or even your own focused thoughts. For example, try rinsing your comb under running water while picturing any unwanted energy flowing away, or leave your shoes outside for a few hours to let the earth and air refresh them. It's not about magic. It's about setting an intention to keep your energy clear. Think of it like tidying up your room. It just feels better when everything's in its place. Here's a quick tip you can try today. Take your towel, hold it for a moment, and say something like, "You're mine, and you carry only my light." Then, if you want, spritz it with a little water mixed with a drop of lavender oil, or just shake it out in the fresh air. It's a small act, but it's like telling the universe, "I'm in charge of my space." You'll feel the difference, even if it's subtle at first. And this brings us to something even more exciting: how you can take this practice and weave it into your life in a way that feels effortless and uplifting. Let's talk about that next. We're getting close to wrapping this up, but there's still so much goodness to unpack. By now, you're probably seeing how your comb, towel, or shoes aren't just everyday objects. They're like little guardians of your energy, holding space for your intentions and your journey. And when you keep them personal or cleanse them with care, you are not just avoiding someone else's karma, you're rebuilding a stronger connection to yourself. But here's where it gets really fun. You can take this idea of protecting your energy and turn it into a daily practice that feels like a warm hug from the universe. Let's explore how to make that happen in a way that fits right into your life. Picture this. You're starting your day, maybe a little rushed, but you pause for a moment when you grab your comb. Instead of just running it through your hair, you take a deep breath and think, "I'm clearing my mind, setting my focus." It's like turning a mundane task into a mini meditation. This is rooted in Buddhist ideas of mindfulness, where even the simplest actions, like eating or walking, can become sacred if you bring awareness to them. Your personal items are perfect for this because they're already part of your routine. You don't need to carve out extra time or learn some complex ritual. You just need to add a sprinkle of intention. Let me share a story to bring this to life. My neighbor, Carlos, was always stressed out, juggling work and family life. He'd use whatever towel was in the bathroom, often one his kids had left behind after their chaotic mornings. He started feeling like he was absorbing their restless energy, tantrums, school stress, you name it. One day, he decided to keep one towel just for himself. He'd hang it separately, and after his shower, take a moment to dry off slowly, focusing on letting go of the day's noise. He told me it was like creating a bubble of calm in his hectic life. That one small change made him feel more in control, more himself. This is the magic of it. You don't need to overhaul your life to protect your energy. It's about small, deliberate choices. Your shoes, for example. They carry you through your day, grounding you to the earth. Before you slip them on, try tapping them together lightly, imagining you're shaking off anything that doesn't belong to you. It's a quick, quiet way to say, "This is my path and I'm walking it with clarity." In many spiritual traditions, the feet are seen as connectors to the earth's energy, so treating your shoes with care is like honoring that connection. Here's something you can try right now. Pick one item, your comb, towel, or shoes, and make it your energy anchor for the next few days. Use it with intention, like it's a tool for centering yourself. Maybe whisper a little affirmation like, "I'm grounded, I'm clear, I'm me." It doesn't have to be loud or fancy, just something that feels true to you. You'll start to notice how these moments add up, creating a sense of calm and strength that carries you through the day. And this sets us up for the final piece of this conversation, where we'll tie it all together and give you a way to make this practice a lasting part of your life. Let's head there next. Here we are, at the final stretch of our conversation, and I'm so glad you've stuck with me. We've been exploring how something as simple as not sharing your comb, towel, or shoes can protect your energy and keep you from absorbing someone else's karma or struggles. But more than that, we've seen how these everyday items can become tools for mindfulness, helping you stay grounded and connected to yourself. Now let us bring it all together with a way to make this a lasting part of your life, one that's easy, uplifting, and feels like it's truly yours. Think about your daily routine as a series of tiny opportunities to check in with yourself. Every time you pick up your comb, wrap yourself in your towel, or lace up your shoes, you're not just going through the motions, you're touching pieces of your own energy. By keeping these items personal and treating them with a little intention, you are building a habit of self-care that is rooted in ancient wisdom but fits perfectly into your modern life. It's like planting small seeds of calm that grow over time, without you needing to be perfect or change everything overnight. Let me share one last story to make this stick. My friend Priya was always on the go, juggling a demanding job and a busy social life. She used to share her stuff without thinking, her comb, her towel, even her favorite sneakers. But she started feeling scattered, like she was losing her spark. One day, inspired by a talk about energy in her yoga class, she decided to try something new. She designated her own towel and comb as her sacred tools. Every morning she'd use them mindfully, taking a moment to breathe and set an intention for the day, like, "I'm choosing clarity and joy." It wasn't a huge change, but over time she said it felt like she was reclaiming her energy piece by piece. She even started keeping her shoes separate, treating them like her personal pathfinders. Now she swears these small rituals are what keep her grounded, no matter how crazy life gets. The beauty of this is that it is not about following strict rules or becoming someone you are not. It's about starting where you are, with what you have. You don't need to be a spiritual master to make this work. Just pick one item, maybe your towel, and decide it's yours alone. Use it with a little love, a little awareness, like it's a reminder of your own strength. If you want to take it further, try cleansing it every now and then with water, sunlight, or a quick shake in the fresh air. It's like hitting reset on your energy, giving you a fresh start whenever you need it. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Maybe share which item you're going to claim as your energy anchor, or how you're feeling about protecting your space. It means the world to know what's clicking for you. And if you're loving this kind of content, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps keep these conversations going. Plus, there's more where this came from, and I'd hate for you to miss it. Before we go, let us end with this. You don't need to make grand gestures to live a more vibrant, centered life. Sometimes it has the smallest choices, like keeping your comb to yourself or pausing to breathe before you step into your shoes, that light the way. You deserve to feel clear, grounded, and fully yourself. So, if you've made it this far, drop a comment below and say, "I'm in this," just so I know you're with me and ready to make these little shifts happen. Here's to protecting your energy and walking your path with intention. You've got this.